Hello, my name is Sean Ennis from Ennis Management. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and share this video. And for all of your promotion and marketing needs, be sure to go to ennistalentmanagement.com or email ennisproductions@gmail.com. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, Allison Morris. She is a promoter, executive producer, and consultant at Limitless Entertainment, a family business that promotes a do-it-yourself marketing approach. Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Sean, for having me today.
Yes,
How
thank
are
you.
you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
So, where were you born?
I was born in Milton, Florida. It is a small town in the Panhandle of Florida. I'm originally from Crestview, Florida. It's about 30 minutes from there, but they didn't have a maternity ward. So my mom had to go 30 minutes to give birth to me. So
And can you describe Crestview, Florida?
it is a small town. Like I said, in the Panhandle. It's about 20 miles from the beach. So it's in Okaloosa County, Florida. I guess the nearest city that you might have heard of is Pensacola or Destin, Florida. So it's a small town, and it's very small population, one high school. Everyone knows everyone. So shout out to Crestview Bulldogs, and just shout out to everyone in Crestview. I know when they hear this, they're going to be like, oh my God, she said Crestview. Because some people say, they're from wherever they live now. But I still love my city.
Excellent. So, let's talk about your musical history. When you were young, did you take any lessons to play any instruments or any vocal lessons?
Unfortunately, I did not. I was very interested in it. My mother, she played the saxophone. My family is very musically inclined. Everyone in my family plays some kind of instrument except for my generation. We were pushed to focus on academics and computer skills and things like that. So I was more technology driven, and I wasn't able to explore my musical side. So I didn't take that. But as far as my experience in theater, I started that once I actually became an adult. So I was in several productions, some Broadway musicals with local community theater as an adult.
That's really interesting. Can you talk some more about your experiences in the theater?
Sure. Well, I was approached by Jermaine Purifori. He was on season 9, I believe, of American Idol. He's originally from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and he needed someone to fill in for an ensemble role for the Color Purple musical. So, of course, I was like, yes, so I jumped right in. Someone had backed out of the show last minute, and they just needed someone that they felt like could catch on really quick and make the show happen. So I jumped in. I learned the whole entire show in 2 weeks because it was 2 weeks before the opening, and we sold out 15 shows. And it was an amazing experience. We all cried at the end. Shout out to TCP crew forever. But so that was my first show, my first production, and it was a paid show. I didn't know it was paid at first, so I was like, wait. Hey. So and then I did Ragtime, which is another Broadway musical there, and I did another like a church play called Uncle Phil's Diner. But I love theater, and I'm looking to do another production hopefully soon, if my schedule permits.
And can you describe sort of the experience of performing on stage?
It is like nothing else. Like the thing about when I did the Color Purple musical is it's such a big show. It's such there's so many different elements. So while you're in the middle of it, while you're performing, it's just second nature. Especially if everyone else's raw, parts and coming in and everything. So everything moves really fast. It's almost a 3-hour show, but it just feels like it just goes by really fast. But the nerves, once those lights come on, the nerves go away, and it was just a wonderful experience. It was kind of like an outer body experience, and I love it. It's nerve wracking at first. I almost, bombed the first show because I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And I was eating a piece of pizza, and one of the lady that played Sophia, she said, well, you shouldn't be stuffing your face right now. She's like, you shouldn't be eating pizza. And I was like, oh no. I was like, I'm going to fail. I was a nervous wreck, but we made it through. It was a great experience.
Excellent.
Hmm.
And how did music influence you growing up?
Well, music is everything. Like I said, I come from a musically inclined family. They all played instruments, but we listened to music. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, so we didn't have like gospel songs. We had the music that they provided. With the Jehovah's Witnesses organization, they had their own, music library. So I was very much intrigued and interested in learning about other music. So it was kind of like whatever my mother listened to. So I grew up with Tina Turner, the Supremes, and my mother had me at the age of 33. So she was, grown. She was grown. So she was a 50s baby. So I listened to a lot of Motown, and she was very open to other musical genres. So she liked, the Beatles, and she liked, different music. So that was my background.
Excellent. And can you remember an earliest memory involving music?
Let's see. Earliest memory. Oh, we sang when I was in, I think it was kindergarten or something, but we sang Wind Beneath My Wings in like a school program, I guess. We everyone brought flowers to their mom. I remember that part. And we sung that Bette Midler song, Wind Beneath My Wings, in front of the whole school. And so that was probably my first, like, experience, I guess you could say, on stage. It wasn't, it was in a group setting, but that was one of my first memories of, like, music playing, being on stage, and then, it was a great experience. The first concert I went to actually ended up being, what's the guy who sung, Jeffrey Osborne. So, so like I said, I'm just kind of old school in that respect, but it was fun.
And can you talk about the work you do as a promoter?
Sure. So in 2016, I say that like it's a long time ago. 2016, myself and Justin Sullivan Brown, he's currently in Atlanta. We started Limitless Entertainment because he was a artist and he wanted to do more shows. He wasn't getting really good consistent gigs. So I said, well, we tried all of those. We looked at Coast to Coast mixtapes. Shout out to them, because they're giving artists opportunities. A lot of people say it's a scam, but anybody that gives opportunities and they actually follow through on it, I feel like they're doing their part. If you have a problem with the show not doing, whatever it is that you expect it to do, it's just because you haven't done it yourself, and that's what I'm a firm believer on, is about doing it yourself. I feel like if we give these artists a platform as a promoter, it's great to have a big audience, but you have to, as an artist, you have to bring your own fan base. You have to promote it as well. And if you equally, and if not more, give it your all, then I feel like, that it shouldn't be any problem. So, we started doing our own shows in February of 2016 in Chattanooga. It evolved into, I did an independent tour called Music Matters Tour. And we did about 7 cities in 5 different states. I did that with Smart Time Entertainment. We had Def Jam, Atlantic Records. Sony Red was at the last few cities that we did in Detroit and Chicago. So it was an amazing experience. It was my first time doing anything of that magnitude. It wasn't a huge, like, arena, amphitheater size venues. They were smaller venues, maybe about 500, people. But it was just, like I said, it taught me the structure, and it taught me, how to put everything together and how to make it happen for execution. So it was very important for me to experience that.
Okay, so You said some very important key things that I want to take a moment and unpack. So the first thing is you mentioned artists performing and needing to bring their own fan base. So
Mhm.
what's a piece of advice that you can give to artists that will help them grow their fan base?
I mean, staying up with you have to keep with the times. Everything is evolving, so much, especially in the music industry. It just like any other industry, doctors' offices in the medical field, they have video chat now, where if you get sick, you can call, I can call my doctor and say, hey, my daughter, she doesn't feel well. He can look at me and we can do a video chat instead of going into an office. So just utilizing your technology, video, doing more videos, not just posting a video every day, but interacting with your fan base and talking to them and one on one. And when you're doing a show, speaking to them in the audience, because you don't know, like I said, who's in the audience or who's watching. So just making sure that they understand that they're appreciated. They'll tell their friends when they leave there, and they'll tag you. Make sure that you connect with each and every person. I mean, this is like a campaign. You're lobbying for them to listen to your music. They don't know you. So the people that do know you, that's great. But you know what? You're trying to reach people that don't know you and that haven't listened to your music before. So I just feel like that, people and artists should really, really try to connect, with their fan base, like personally. that's my thing.
And that's a great point. So the next question I have for you, so let's say I'm an independent artist and I get booked for an event. What's my next move in terms of what I should be doing to promote that event and make sure it's a success?
Okay, so I mean, it just depends on the venue as well, because I've ran into that situation. A lot of people are like, well, is the venue promoting? I am a firm believer that the venue that you are performing needs to help with their, the people that are frequent, frequent customers of that venue. Uh, they need to be engaged as well. So I feel like it's everyone needs to do their part. But if there's a flyer, share that flyer. If they have the means to, or if they don't, they need to ask. Speak up and say, hey, can you print me out, 50 or 100 flyers that I can pass out myself. Or that, instead of saying, is anyone going to be, who's promoting it, and are y'all sharing it on Facebook? There's hundreds of ways that you can promote without just using Facebook, in effective ways. If you have a local radio station, and the promoter is not already in contact with them, help out. This is everyone's show. Contact the radio station, say I have a show coming up, and then tell them who was over the event and link them. This is a connection. Everyone is. I remember when I first started doing this, it was one of those things that some of the artists are like trying to contact people on my friends list, or they're trying to find out who's who and doing, like it was just one of those things. They called it poaching. Where you would take, you would get someone's contact and then you would try to move the middleman out the way. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do in ethics wise, but I don't have a problem connecting you with someone else. I don't have a problem introducing you to someone as long as you're going to keep your integrity and as long as you're not going to, make me look bad. I mean, if you contact them on your own, that person, once they see that, they'll already have an opinion of you anyway. So that doesn't, that's not on me anymore. It's on you. So, just promote. I mean, make that connection.
And I want to go back and get some more detail on that first event when you started Limitless Entertainment. So can you take me through kind of the starting process and how you put that together?
Yeah, well, I read up. I'm a nerd, so I read up on how to host an event. Just because I just wanted to. I'm a real analytical person. Sometimes I overthink things, so I was like, okay, I want to make sure I have my checklist, ready. So I had the DJ, I had the sound. I went and met with the venue several times with the space. And then, I called artists and asked them if they wanted to be a part of it. A lot of them didn't know what it was, but I just said, I'm just trying to give you guys a chance to do something in the city instead of the same people, the same, there's probably about 5 to 10 artists that are always doing something in the city, in every show, over and over again. If you're a local artist, you'll know who they are. And so there's some people that, maybe haven't done a show or want to do one, or they haven't done one in a long time. They need an opportunity. So I reached out to those people. I put the word out, maybe about a month or two ahead of time, and said if anyone was interested to contact me. So we opened it up for them to have rehearsals there at the venue. Now, like I said, every venue doesn't have that luxury to rehearse there, but I do it like a stage production. I encourage you to get to know your space, where you're performing, get to know the type of people, the clientele that typically go to that venue. Because if they're already going there, what difference is it if they go there on the night that you're performing? Go there on those nights. If it's a karaoke night, that's fine. They're very loyal fans because they like to sing too. They like music. So go to a karaoke night, even though karaoke might not be your cup of tea, and invite them to your show. So we did that. The first show we had I think we had over 200 people there. The first show, it was at Chattanooga Billiards Club in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We had a panel, which was different for me. So I actually had locals, local celebrities and local people that had a lot of influence in the city. I guess you could say they were judging, but they were actually giving feedback to the artists that were in the show after they performed. So I tried to add value in that way. We had a prize. That's my daughter. We had a prize. We had little certificates for everyone. So it was a great event. It was nerve-wracking just because I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. Go ahead.
How were you able to attract some of the labels and other big name sponsors to participate in your event?
I asked. Like I said, if you won't know anything until you ask first, and sometimes you don't know what questions to ask. But I don't even know exactly how I got in contact with Wise McGriff at Def Jam. I know how I got in contact with him, but I don't know how the series of events led to that. It was T. Hart Sinatra. He's a guy that he has his own company called WWESQ, aka Star Quality TV. Everyone has their own endeavor. But I met him online because he lives in New York. And of course, I'm really skeptical about different people, that you meet online. So I just, I'm always welcome to have a conversation, even like how we met. We met online. So through him, he said, I know these people. They're with Def Jam, and so he hooked me up with the guy over independent label in Memphis that purchased the logo and the rights to Def Jam's name, Def Jam Memphis. That's Philip Duncan. Shout out to Underground Railroad Entertainment. And he knows, like I said, it's a chain of people, because it's six degrees of separation or whatever, that saying is, that you know somebody that knows somebody. So he introduced me to Wise. He gave me his information because I said I wanted to take it to the next level. I wanted to actually bring those record labels to areas other than Atlanta and other than big major cities, because maybe they're not able to come, to those areas. So I wanted to bring them there. I talked to Wise McGriff for the first time. I was very nervous, and I asked him what his rate was. I was very upfront. I said, I know that you don't come for free, because he lives in New Jersey, and I said, how much would it be for me to get you down here? He told me the details and forwarded my information over to his manager, and we set everything up. So he came down and he did 2 days with us. It was a mess. I'm not gonna lie. There was internal issues with the DJ. There was internal issues with the venue. There was a mother of one of the performers wanted to fight me after a show. It was a lot. And it was, like I said, it's not for the you have to be thick-skinned, I guess, to be a promoter. So at that point, that's when I said, well, I'm going to try to make sure that I don't get caught up into the promoter side of it, but make sure that the artists get what they need. So over time, that's in the beginning. Over time, now it's like clockwork. We have sound check. Everyone comes to the event. We have a good time. So the other thing with that is when you do have a major label come to one of your shows or come to give advice to these guys, a lot of them don't. It just depends on who you're dealing with. A lot of them don't want to waste their time, and you don't want to waste theirs. So they ask that the artists don't come up to them directly, which a lot of artists feel, these are artists that feel like they're the next one to blow. They feel like they're the next Drake or they're the next Nicki Minaj or Cardi B. So they have egos. So they're like, oh, so automatically it's conflict because he don't want to talk, he doesn't want to talk to them directly, or he might charge for his time for consultation. So, like I said, those things that's not my control, So he did speak to a few people during that time. He spoke to an artist named Zindy Houston. She's out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. She's a younger artist. She was 13 at the time. And like I said, I opened my shows up to all ages, but it was in a setting, like a club setting. So her father was there. I try to make sure that if we are dealing with minors, that we have the parents involved too. So she was presented with opportunity. Like I said, I can't make a label sign you. I can't there's a lot of limitations to what I do, but I can set the event up and make sure that you get your time that you were expecting, and the sound. I want to make sure that the sound is good. Videos, that's something that I feel like if you're an artist, you should have someone there with their camera having a professional good quality video. Now we've tried to do that on several occasions, but with everything going on, you just have to make sure as an artist that you get what someone has to capture your essence. Because there's 10, maybe 5 to 10 performers. I might not be able to capture every one of your moments. I don't know your set good enough to know that, I need to make sure I get this part that that we worked hard on, that you've rehearsed and you've worked on. So I feel like you should always have your own little mini team there with you at your show. Make sure it's successful.
I agree. I think that's very important as well. Mm-hmm. So if I'm an independent artist and I'm looking to book more performances for myself, what are the steps that I need to take to professionally reach out to venues?
Well, most venues, and like I said, most venues are only looking for the bottom line. They want to know how much money they're going to make. And that's business, that's business. And that's just, like I said, with Def Jam or any other label that you're dealing with, they want to make money. So if you have a way to appeal to their better nature, I think about, what's that movie, Happy Feet? So you have to appeal to their better nature. And their better nature is money. So if you have a plan in place of how you're going to make money, sell tickets for them, if you're going to bring if you have a list of people, if you even have email addresses, numbers talk. It doesn't have to be cold hard cash. They need to know that they're going to make money that night. I mean, if you're an artist and you can bring 30 people, that's great. Don't think that that's not going to be a lot of people. That's a lot of people. If everybody buys, $10 or, or 2 drinks or whatever, you're going to make the venue money. But you need to make sure that when you say, I'm going to bring 30 people, that you bring 30 people. And you don't bring 5. Because that's just part of the game is results. Everyone can talk. And I think that's the most important thing that artists need to understand in the beginning. You think that, okay, yeah, your family's going to be there. I had an artist, he brought 80 people to his first show. 80 people. But he can't do that every single show because your family's going to get tired of you after a while. They're going to be like, oh, you got another show, especially if you're really hot at the moment. You know, oh my God, you got so many shows. You know, there's only going to be a handful, just like a handful of friends that you have, real friends in real life. In the music industry, it's no different. You're going to have a handful of fans, and they're going to be diehard. But then you're going to have to prove that you want their attention and their money, and you want them to buy your product, which is your music and your merchandise. So having all those things, and I forgot to mention that earlier, is having something tangible that people can have, so that they remember you. Is very important. So when you go into a venue, just keep that in mind. They're trying to make money, so it's not really about, I'm a great singer, I can do this. They don't care, and that's the hard truth of it. You can be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't have a fan base, you don't have money, you're not going to make them any money. They don't even want to entertain it. A lot of them don't even want to talk to artists directly. Hence why I put myself into that position, so that I can be that middleman and I can open doors where they weren't otherwise won't be open.
And that is something that is certainly a challenge for creatives and artists, is really understanding that this is a business, and venues especially are, like you mentioned, only interested in the number of paying customers that an artist is going to bring to their venue. So that's certainly a really important takeaway. So the next thing that I want to ask you, being as you are someone who throws your own events, one of the things that I suggest to artists who are struggling to get booked by venues is that they team up with a group of artists and rent your own venue and put on your own event. So can you kind of take me through the process of how do you book a venue to host your own event?
It just, like I said, it depends on the terms of the venue. Some venues have, they want maybe a down payment. They want a deposit to host the night. Some of them might give you the venue for free. Sometimes you just have to ask that question. I've had a lot of venues just give me the space because they said they just want to help with the situation. So everybody's not, they do want money. They do want you to bring people. But at the same time, they're not like, okay, well, if you don't have, they're not looking with their hand out at the end of the show. So just being a patron of that venue is a good way to get in. If they see you there, on multiple occasions, and they see you bringing people, even if it's karaoke night, ask the karaoke DJ, hey, can you play my music, or can you play my song, or the DJ on another night. The DJ is key, because the DJ works there. He obviously knows the venue, because he was working there. So, I mean, make connections with these people. Don't just hit them up when you need something. Be genuine in the fact that you want to have a show. Tell them what your plan is. It's not like somebody's going to be like, oh, well, I'm doing a show, and then you want to do a show, so I need to get your night. Because, no, this is not cutthroat. It's 365 days in a year. So if another artist wants to have a show, if you don't feel like they're, a common, with what you are trying to do, it's okay to have it a different night. But, just be aware that other people are going to want to do the same thing that you're doing. So you're going to have to be a little bit flexible. I always go for, ask them what they want. If the venue wants a live band, then add someone to your show that has a live band. And then, since you're the one doing it yourself, of course you're going to be in it too. There's a group that I've had the pleasure of working with, called Projects to Mansions. They're a rap group. They currently live in Atlanta, Georgia. And they've been doing just that. They were in one of my showcases in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And I met them at another show that they did, their first show, at a small bar called the Green Door Music Hall. And now, they opened up for Little Uzi. I wasn't able to secure that for them, and make that happen. So they did that last year. They opened up for the 5,000 people. And that was the first show of that magnitude. And they had only been doing the music. They were in the music industry for maybe 8 months at that point. So like I said, they listened. They tried to make connections as best they could. And now, they did a show. I know they did one called Lucid Dreams. It was like a, little show at Old Smith's Old Bar in Atlanta, Georgia. And they did it on their own. They called me a few times. They were like, hey, what about this, that, and the other? And I'm like, sounds great. Run it, do it. You don't need my approval. I don't have to hold your hand anymore. You got it. You don't question yourself. So a lot of it is confidence that, just make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. Of course, someone's not going to show up. Something's going to, something's going to happen during that day, during that night that is not going to, people are going to be like, oh my God, but how do you recover? Do you go, drift off into the sunset, with the tail between your legs, or do you stand up tall and be like, I did the best I could, and we'll do a better show next time. So it's just about attitude. So, yeah.
And Limitless Entertainment promotes a do-it-yourself marketing approach. Can you explain what that means?
I feel like artists, and I see that artists need to. Do it yourself is just what it says. You need to do it yourself. Now, other people, if you're paying someone, and I have a service, like I said, my service to you when I'm producing a show is I'm providing you with the platform. I'm helping with the marketing. I'll get it out to the radio stations. I will, do flyering. I will get you an interview, whatever it is that I told you I will do. Those are the things I'm responsible for. Now, the rest of it is up to you. Now, if I go on your page and I do this, that's why people will be like, oh, Lord, here she comes. Because if you see me in your inbox and I'm like, what's going on? And they should already know. We are 2 weeks out from a show. We're 1 week out. We're the week of the show. And you aren't posting about it. You're posting about a single that you're about to drop, next week. And I'm like, the show is this week. Why aren't you talking about this? Anytime you're out, even at the grocery store or at your child's school, wherever, I don't know, everywhere that you go, church, you should be telling people to come out to my show. It doesn't have to be, oh my God, it's flooded on your timeline, but I do feel like you should take responsibility for inviting people to your show and doing your own marketing to a certain respect. I know, like, even big artists, like I met Kane Brown before he was, before he got signed. Kane Brown is a country artist. He did the New Year's Eve show with Dick Clark. I met him in 2015, and I gave him my card. I didn't get his information. I feel so bad. It's one of those things you kick yourself in the butt. So it's like, I met him and I told him, I said, man, you're amazing talent, and I wish you the best and everything. I think I hit him up a few times on Facebook, but it never came into fruition because of course I didn't know what I was doing. So, he posted videos every day. Like, he did a cover every single day. Like, it was like clockwork. And he started building fans, and the girls started going crazy. And then, like I said, he's very successful now. So everyone is going to have their own path, but, you're just going to have to do it yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you.
And can we talk about an artist that you've worked with in the past?
Sure. I'll use Justin as an example because he was technically kind of like my first artist that we worked with for a long period of time. That was actually, just as an aside, that was one of the things that Def Jam had spoke to me about was, if you working with an artist, he's like, first of all, have him on contract. Second of all, on a management level and even on a PR level or any kind of deal, just have it on contract and to make sure that you've worked with them for at least a year so that their work ethic, their integrity, because a lot of people don't make it 90 days. I've worked with different artists that they don't even make it 90 days. You can give them the world. We can make mountains move in 90 days and, with obviously God's help, but they won't act right. After that time, they'll get drained or they'll get discouraged or something will happen, life will happen, and they'll just trickle off, and then they'll come back, with the energy again in 6 months. And I'll be like, well, I mean, we're already moving. We're moving. I mean, you can, like I said, do it yourself, and you can come back, but everything's changed now. We're doing we're on another, we're on to another show, so, Justin, he never had his name on a flyer, never had his name on a ticket. So before we did all this, and, I think one of his first gigs where he was on a ticket, it was a church event, but nevertheless, it was an event where he was able to perform one of his songs, and he got a very, very positive feedback from everyone. And he's opened up for Verse Simmons, he's opened up for 2 Chainz, August Alsina, Jay Holiday. The list goes on as far as people that he's been blessed to cross paths with. And he does all genres of music, and like that might have been one of his reasons, for taking a break, is that he needed to find himself again. And I feel like as an artist, you have to know what market you're targeting, who you are really going to. You can't say, "Oh, I'm for everybody." You can't be for everybody. Everybody isn't for everybody. Everybody's not gonna like your song. Everybody's not gonna like your voice. Everybody's not gonna like how you look. So you're going to have to market towards those people that are going to like you. Lil Uzi Vert has a market. And when we did that show in September, they were 16 to 18-year-old Caucasian children. Those, like 95% of those tickets sold, of those 5,000 people, were of that market. And regardless of how you feel about him, I respect that, because he did that. and he continues to do that. So, you have to find your market. And like I said, with Justin, I think that he is still learning his sound, and he's a great songwriter. So I always have encouraged him to explore that. We're going to go, I'm not working with him on contract, but, like I said, I do follow up with people that I worked with in the past, and just make sure that they're on track, they don't need anything. So he is going to set up some meetings with ASCAP and try to get on as a songwriter with them, because I feel like that's his strength. And he also does music videos. We just dropped a video called Natural that he did, and it's available everywhere on iTunes and Spotify and everything. But we did a music video. He dedicated it to my late mother, Patsy James. She passed away in May unexpectedly, so it was just it's sentimental, and that's a shameless plug, but definitely check that out. And like I said, I am proud of him for, he took a break and he came back and he did something that I feel like everybody agrees that it's a nice song. It's something that uplifts Black women. It's about being natural in anything that you do.
And that's really nice that he dedicated that music video to your mom, and I just want to give you my condolences as well. Thank you.
She was my number one supporter. She came to like 3 of the shows for Color Purple. She's there. I mean, she kept my daughter. I have a 3-year-old. She used to babysit my daughter. It's hard out here, y'all, for a promoter, for anybody out here trying to do anything with nightlife, because you have to have a babysitter. The kids cannot keep themselves, and a lot of women, I encourage women entrepreneurs, if you have kids, they know, it is not easy at all. I'm not saying it's easier for a guy, but they don't have to find the babysitter. Like I said, when I go out that night, I'm not just making money just to make money. I have to make money to pay my babysitter. When I get back, I have to I have to pay them too. So everybody's, looking for something. So, it's just, it was a blessing to have her during the time that we had her, and she's taught me everything. She gave me my foundation. So now it's time for me to, continue doing that and to do better each time.
And what are the services offered by Limitless Entertainment?
Well, like I said, it's just become a consultation agency, a booking agency at this point. I do foresee it becoming an actual, the branding of a studio, so that we can do everything we need to do to be able to, put these shows online. Because I've kind of gotten tired of doing like the the shows where it should, the typical shows where you set it up and people perform and they go home. I want to make sure that it's like a reality show situation. So we're moving into a direction where I want it to be syndicated, and I want it to be on Netflix and things like that, and whatever platforms we can get it on, Tidal and all those things. So there is something, like I said, keep up with technology. There is something going on with YouTube and Tidal, and I think, well, it is YouTube. And what's Reverb Nation? They have a feature now that people thought Reverb Nation is out, but they're going to come back in the next year or two, where there's a live option for you to do a live show, and like a 3D show from your page. So people can actually go in and buy tickets and everything from the comfort of their own home. And the camera is like one of those, it's like a webcam, and it'll be wherever you are. You can do it in your garage. You could be at a real show, but you can also be at your garage. And they can, and it'll be content that, because like I said, we need to build up that content, because this is like our book of life. People don't write anymore. We have videos, so you're going to have videos and things like that to prove that these things happen and archive. And it might be worth money one day. So I just encourage everybody to get as much footage as they can. That's why I want to do this reality show. So it'll be in the U.S. government book of history or whatever. Years and years and years from now, they'll have a record of the things that we've been doing.
And to sort of build on that, how can artists use social media to grow their fan base?
Utilizing those sponsored ads, even the Google ads. Google has a very huge platform that a lot of artists take for granted. Once you post it on YouTube, they have a lot of analytics. They have a lot of, things. Like I said, if any of these things start sounding like foreign language, you haven't been doing your research, as an artist. If you don't know what analytics are, you don't know, how to check your statistics, your stats, then you need some help. That's why you will need a manager to help you, because you're gonna have to know you'll have to know who you're targeting, your market audience, because in those ads you can target certain age groups, you can target certain countries. A lot of artists, we don't have to just focus on America. There's so many people out there in Japan and other countries that would love your music. They would love to have you come out there for a show. Get your passport ready. Always be ready. So I feel like doing those sponsored ads and doing those and really focusing on Google and doing the YouTube ads is very important, because it does build your audience. Those aren't fake numbers. Now Instagram, those numbers can be skewed a little bit. You need them all. You need them all, but the focus, I feel like, where you actually get results is those YouTube and those ads, because you can actually see those numbers moving.
And what attracts you to an artist? What makes you want to work with them?
Just their work ethic. Like I said, if I put you, I want to see what you're gonna do when nobody's looking. I've always been, I've always put God first, but sometimes it doesn't reflect that. And I want to make sure everything I do reflects that. I want people to know what they're going to get when they come to me or when they work with me. So if I come to you, that means that I've been watching you for a while, and not in a stalker way, but that I see that you have been working and that you need help. A lot of people say, oh, well, this person has this, that, and other, and they don't need help. So a lot of people do come to me, I stay busy. I have a 3-year-old, but they do come to me and they say, I need help. And unfortunately, I have to say, well, until you know exactly what help you need, I can't help you with everything, then I'll have to, send them back to the drawing board so they can tell me exactly what they need. But in the meantime, like I said, there's been artists like Luciano Guns, a.k.a. Lady Luciano. She just won the Orlando Coast to Coast mixtapes series, and next year she's going to be competing for a $50,000 world championship for Coast to Coast mixtapes. She's based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Works with her for about a year, as far off and on. She's done shows, that I've helped produce, and I I enjoy her energy. She's not an artist that's going to be kissing everybody's behind. She's just not that person. And we bumped heads on occasion, before. But at the same time, she respects me, and I respect her. And I feel like people shouldn't be too sensitive. This is the music industry. You're gonna have to have thick skin. So everybody can be nice, for a certain period of time. But at the end of the day, did the work get done? And that's what I look at. Did you get it done? If you got mad at me because maybe I'm not moving too fast, or I didn't set up a tour that you want me to set up, that's fine. Set your own tour up, and then put it in my face. Be like, look, this is what I did, and I'll be like, you know what, good job. You know what, let's raise some money. Let's get some sponsors. Let's sell some tickets. I'll come back and I'll help anybody, But like I said, I'm not going to do it for people that are ungrateful.
And your next show is coming up October 6th at Al's Beach Club and Burger Bar on Okaloosa Island in Northwest Florida, and that event is called the Indie Artist Showcase. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So I was looking at this venue for almost a year before we did our first show there in May, and it is on the beach. It's where I live is paradise. If you don't know about Fort Walton Beach and Destin, Florida, there's a song that one of the local groups called The Strangers. Shout out to The Strangers. They did. It said, Miami's cool, but I'd rather live here in Destin, because it's paradise. It's white sand beaches. It's beautiful. And the people here are, like I said, this is a tourist city, so everybody here is just, we all try to help each other. There is division in the city, but there's more people trying to work and trying to make it here than I've seen in any other city other than Chattanooga. Chattanooga has a special place in my heart because that's where I started. But this is my city. This is my home. So it's on the beach. The venue used to be called the Swamp. They used to be where everybody used to go for the club nightlife. They've actually gotten out of the nightlife, and it's more family friendly. So that was one of my challenges: is how am I gonna get artists that are family friendly? Ironically. And even this last time, the show that we're doing on October 6th, I actually have a praise team from church that will be performing, which is the first time we've had that capacity. And so there's a balance. It's not a church event, but it is, it is very, inspirational, geared and Christian based in everything I do. So I'm very excited about this show. We've got multiple genres. We've got Jason Tyler Finley. He is an acoustic artist. He plays in different venues across the Gulf Coast. We've got Audia Stone. She's 13 years old. Mason Piper. They usually do, like indie pop, and they do a lot of covers in their sets, which people here love it. They love covers here. We've got Corey Robinson. He's a R&B singer. We've got Mario Smith. I'm so excited to meet him. Mario Smith, y'all check him out because he is the next R&B superstar. I promise you this. He's under BCMG music label. So it's an independent label here locally, but he's from Iowa. I've never met a brother from Iowa, but he is amazing. So check him out. Like I said, just follow the Limitless page and for updates and for live stream and everything for the event. It's going to be amazing. Like I said, we'll have some spoken word artists. It's going to be a nice, it's going to be a great night. I'm excited about it.
And can you share your social media links?
Yes, Limitless Entertainment. You just Google that. It'll be Limitless, spelled out Limitles. Entertainment. It's long, I know, but I haven't been able to change it because I didn't want to have to remarket myself. So entertainment spelled out the number 4 and the letter U. So Limitless Entertainment for you. So anywhere you can type that in, it'll pop up even on Google. For Instagram, we have the Alize850. You can follow me because, like I said, I'm not trying to make this like I want this to be a subsidiary company of a bigger umbrella. But so this is, for tax purposes, this is just, this is a consulting firm and a booking agency. So, like I said, if you want to find out what's going on, we have a page and we have a group. And the group consists of some, some thousands of members that are all in the entertainment industry, from DJs to producers to venue owners. Everybody's in that group. So I encourage you to join. You're already in John, or Sean, but just get into that group and share your work. I mean, it's an open forum.
And what is the best way for artists to contact you?
I'm very accessible. A lot of people, they're like, "Oh, you're so busy, I don't want to call you." I'll be like, How are you gonna know what you need to do if you don't contact me?" So if I'm available, I'll answer the phone. If I'm not, leave me a message. Send me a message on Facebook. I'm very, very accessible. Sometimes I'm too accessible, but at the same time, like I said, when I am available, I will respond. Now, I will respect people's time, but if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I mean, I don't have to respond back that particular moment, but you might get a response back at a weird time just because I'm a mother. And I might wake up and I'll have an idea, or I might, have a response and I'll respond back. So at that point, just hit me up on, you can send me a text message on my business line. You can hit me up on Facebook. I have a place for you to message me on Facebook. So I'm not looking for quantity. I'm looking for quality. So I'm not one of those people like, oh, I worked with 200 artists. I have, but that's not what the goal is. The goal is to break artists. Is to help them achieve their goals. We worked with a group. They're now called Imogene. I did some bookings for them when they were Continuum, and then the lead singer Anthony, he was my roommate in the very beginning. I just wanted him to write that letter, which he was able to. He called me when he quit his job, write that resignation letter, and say, "Hey, I'm doing music full time," and he's been doing music full time since. So that's the reward for me. In the beginning, and I have a day job. I do, this is more of a passion for me. I don't want it to become something that I hate, and I come in like a job, and I don't want to do it anymore. So I try to keep that balance, and so that balance has been just keeping it as a booking agency, as a consulting firm. Because then you don't get into that space where it's like, oh my God, like now I have to hire staff and I have to do this, that, and the other. So I usually just outsource for each show, and then we work together on projects. It's very project based.
And is there anything you'd like to share before we wrap up?
I want to do a show with you. We have to do our show together and your artist, because I know you are grinding. I mean, like I said, ever since I had initially made we made contact on online, it was kind of like, dude, this guy, he really is into educating. I love that you are a man of words, even though you let me talk this time, but you have a lot to say. You have a lot to share. You have a lot of knowledge, especially when it comes to the book smart. I like that, because I'm all about, how we gonna make money. You can make royalties, you can make all these things they need to know, and I appreciate you being a partner in that respect of educating these guys and gals on the music industry. So I thank you for that.
Well, thank you very much, and we are certainly going to come together and work together on an event. The booking aspect is certainly an area that I could learn a lot from you.
Okay, I'm down. Let's get it.
All right. I'd like to say a very big thank you to my guest, Allison Morris, and I hope that she has continued success with Limitless Entertainment. My name is Sean Ennis from Ennis Management. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and share this video. And for all of your promotion and marketing needs, be sure to go to ennistalentmanagement.com or email ennisproductions@gmail.com.